I got 2 requests. You just read before or after?
Oh, both.
Okay, the gentleman is the second one. He's not in here right now.
Did you want to speak before?
Sure.
Closed session or after?
I'll do both. I would like to do both. Is that all right?
You bet it is.
I'm liking seeing myself on tape.
Are you recording yourself?
Yeah.
That's a little vague.
I'm a new filmmaker here. I love making the films. Good morning, everybody. Jean Hodge, Susanville. I just would like to comment on the LRA property disposal process, and I'm trying to do research, find out who was on the advisory committee or the review committee. Can't find that. And I know that the Board of Supervisors appointed the CAO to execute the transfer of the properties. And I realize that he makes a hefty salary of $156,000 a year. And I think maybe the board needs to rethink his employment, because I think this is a glaring error and there should be consequences. As a taxpayer, I feel really strongly about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Anybody else wish to address the board? If not, we will announce the items to be discussed in closed session.
One, significant exposure to litigation, and excuse me, yes, and then 2 cases for initiating. Sorry, I'm trying to get mine up.
Okay, we're going to go to closed session. That's 25, nothing. Okay, requested by Ms. Spencer to pull G1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, any other additions or corrections? You got a motion to approve the agenda? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Public comment. Okay, we have Brett Fleming.
My name is Brett Fleming. I live on Dirt Paiute Road, which is above the ranch park that the county put in. And I've had some discussion with the county guys. First of all, I'd like to say we're real happy with the county and Joel and the work that he and Pete have done. The clientele of people that we have up our road, instead of dumping couches and car hoods and partying kids up there all the time, we've got bikers and horse riders and trail walkers. We try to be real good neighbors with you guys. When people dump on your property or ours, I burn it in the wintertime if it's refuse, or I take it to the dump, and I pay for it. Tires and all kinds of stuff like that. What we would like to see, though, is I've given a map, and I've highlighted the portion where the 2 parking lots are, and I'd like to see if we could put that possibly into the county road system. The county park is it's one of the Lassen County's biggest assets as far as what you guys actually put forward to the public to come here. It's on your website. Come ride your trails. It brings a lot of revenue in as far as tax dollars to the hotels when people come and stay. And I personally talk to the people that use that park. They come and stay in Lassen County for a weekend. They come from Reno, Truckee. I've talked to a couple from New Zealand that was there using the trails. It brings an average, I would say, a minimum of 10 extra cars up, and it's essentially our driveway. So it brings about 10 extra cars up that road a day, minimum, not to include the sometimes 30, 40, 50 vehicles when the horse people do their, big horse trailers and put on their feed and do their rides, and the bikers do the same thing once or twice a year, the mountain bikers. So I'd like to see if there's some kind of way we can get some discussion on putting that part of the road, not past it, I'm not asking for anything crazy like that, but just that part where to pass the cattle guard into the county road system and to get some improvement there. I've lived there for almost 15 years now, and it's really, really gone downhill. That's by far, I live a mile and a tenth up, and it's by far the worst part of the road is to the parking lots right there.
What type of distance is that?
Maybe 500 yards. Probably not even that. That's probably, I didn't know I'd be doing this today, to be honest with you, talking like this, but less than, probably a quarter mile. Less than a quarter mile.
All right. This was the one that this is
You're familiar with it?
yeah.
It's in your district?
Yeah.
We could agenda, get on the agenda.
We'd like to, he's visited with Larry several times, he just contacted me a couple weeks ago. Anyway, we'd like to see about moving this forward on the agenda. He got put on the road system, so I'd like to try and anything, talk to Larry about this and see about getting $10 and putting something together.
But you and Larry and Brett will work together, we'll get this on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there a specific agenda date you prefer?
Why don't we wait to talk to Larry, see what it's all going to take.
Okay, Brett?
Okay, so.
You look confused.
Is that, am I done? All right, so do I just check in with Aaron? Aaron's been great too, and I've spoken with him a couple
Yeah,
times.
Aaron's here, yeah, work with Aaron.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Gene, hi.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen. My name's Jean Hodge from Susanville. And again, I'd like to speak to the LRA property disposal situation, and that you, the supervisors, appointed or directed the county CAO to conduct and execute the property disposal transaction, and apparently the transaction was flawed, and I think that there should be consequences because the taxpayers of this county don't appreciate losing a 10,000 square foot building. So I would ask you to consider also requiring maybe the future administrative staff to reside in the county of Lassen. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. Bill? You're again, is that right?
Fire Robin. Bill Fire Robin, 200 Cedar Street.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the board from the bottom of my heart,
Thank you.
okay, for your vote yesterday on the bill. Okay. And Aaron, I appreciate your principled position on it, and you might be surprised to know that I actually agree with you. Okay? In my perfect world, the people of this community would have come together, and the people that had the ability, had the means, would have funded this pool. Okay? But unfortunately, we don't live in that perfect world. And I understand a lot of your constituency actually resides in this area. And I would hope that you would work as hard as the rest of the board to make that pool a reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you again for your million pennies, and that's pretty good. I've told that story a bunch of times. It's pretty cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the comment. Okay, anybody else? Mrs. Spencer?
Eileen Spencer, canwehelp.com. I wasn't able to go to the meeting yesterday, but I did watch the video this morning. And even though it didn't seem like the two entities realized they were two separate meetings going on, with separate votes. I just want to ask you, Bob, if, because this has been a pervasive problem, I mean, really try to acknowledge the public if they yell or scream or make noises or raise their hands. But I want to offer a suggestion, and this may avoid future Brown Act complaints against you, is that when you say, is there a discussion, I've been going to these long enough to know that the discussion is between the board members. Asking for public comment separately would help alleviate some of the problems when you just don't look up and you vote and the public has no time to, unless they, make a fuss about it. But I'm just asking you to say, is there any public comment before the vote? That's all. It's a really simple request. Then the public then is notified, wow, I can say something here. Not everybody knows the Brown Act. Not everybody knows the rules. But when you say, is there any public comment before a vote, then somebody that's never been to a meeting before says, oh, I get to talk. It wasn't done yesterday. When you took the final vote, the city is going to get a Brown Act violation because the city took a vote, made a motion, took a vote, and voted and no public comment. I'm reviewing some of the video of whether you complied with it or not. But it's just a simple thing to ask you, is there any public comment before a vote? And it's going to avoid a lot of headaches for you in the future.
Well, Mr. Spencer, thank you for your comments. I respect all that, but I asked many times for public comment. And maybe before the vote, maybe not immediately, like 5 seconds to 10 seconds before the vote, maybe not when I said, I think the Board of Supervisors is ready to vote. I may not have asked for public comment immediately before that. But during the meeting, the public had total opportunity to comment. I asked for public comment. We took public comment when there's nobody else who wanted to comment. Then we brought it back to the board for discussion. And several times during the meeting, I kept my eyes on that public to be sure there was no hand raised. I mean, I'm a little bit upset because I really worked hard to get all the public input on meetings here, on meetings anywhere. And to be told that I don't is unfair. And don't disrupt me. The Brown Act, we have public comment before the meeting. We have public comment. Then we have public comment on the agenda items. The public all have a chance to comment. I'm not required right before a vote to ask for public comment. Thank you very much. Anybody else wish to address the board?
No, Bob, very much.
Okay, seeing none, we will move on to non-agenda item reports by board members. We'll start with Tom.
I just came back from a trip to Washington, D.C. The good news is there is no BRAC coming for Sierra Army Depot in 2015, which is rumored. I'll have a full report. We'll try to agendize it next Tuesday. So we're in pretty good shape. The earliest one is possibly 2017. So we have lots of congressional support for our base. So good news.
Good. Larry.
Mine's not as exciting as that one. I attended the Transportation Committee with Aaron and Supervisor Chapman yesterday, and then last night, of course, you and I attended Coordination Council. And once again, the council meetings are pretty well represented by Forest Service. BLM wasn't there last night, but we had representation from the Lassen as well as the Plumas Forest. And things continue to move along in good dialogue. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Larry. Aaron.
I attended the transportation meeting yesterday as well with Larry. And for everybody to know, I think they're going to try putting a new bus stop at the IGA store. They're gonna move it from down by Mountain to the IGA store. And then after that, I went to the Community Service District meeting at the Stones Vanguard. They had a good meeting there. Richard, I'd like to get together with you after and talk about their investment opportunity. And then also my wife, she attended the PBIS, which is a Positive Behavior Incentive Solutions. As a parent volunteer that I believe your department puts on Melody, and she had very glowing accolades to say about the program, along with Sports Saved and your school. Schaefer. Anyway, they're looking very forward to implementing that, and that's going to be a good deal. And they're very appreciative that your department's putting a lot of offerings to schools. So thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, I was there at the coordination committee meeting. I had a good meeting. I had several board supervisors from Bedford and from Eula. Good meeting. So the coordination council is really becoming effective, and I think we've got over the L of an effective committee now. So we're going from there. Let's move to F1. Appointment to the Assessment Appeals Board to fill the alternate vacancy. We have a recommendation. We got a motion to move that being period. No.
Jeff Trump.
I was wondering if there's the applicant here.
Is Mr.
I don't
Trump?
believe so.
No.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? From the public, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Let's go to, we got a few minutes here. Let's start with G. We take G1. Mrs. Spencer would like to speak on that.
I just wondered, there's no date of when it was last updated. $20,000 is a lot of money. And when it was last updated, and has this been budgeted?
Is there anybody here that can answer that?
I don't see Julie in the audience. Perhaps you can speak to the budget.
Yes, this amount is budgeted in the clerk, one of the clerk's budgets. I'm not sure which one right now. And she did have this approved last year also for maintenance. So it's an annual approval.
It's an annual approval.
If it's over $10,000 right now, and it's,
But I guess I'm saying, when was it last updated? You're saying a year ago?
the maintenance was approved by the Board of Supervisors last year. I don't know about the update.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions?
Could, maybe just, we could just find it out, we get the questions in the next meeting, just, under discussion or something. I mean, it's valid.
Sure, we could pull the item until next week if that's,
I don't think it's necessary.
okay. We can certainly get the answers.
Okay, we have a motion to approve it.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Any comments from the public? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. G2, Mrs. Spencer.
I'm sorry?
G2,
G2?
do you have to comment on that?
Yes. I noticed that this is under the Health and Social Services, but the contract is to the same person. It's, I don't see the money there on the first one. Oh, $50,000, not to exceed $50,000 and not to exceed $100,000. Again, is this a budgeted item? And I'd like, again, for the board to explain when a department head has to come, what money limit does the department head have to come before the board and ask for these to be approved?
Well, first I asked Melanie to come.
So there's a couple of questions in there.
And maybe Richard can answer that second part.
Morning, Melody Browley, Health and Social Services. These are both our Health and Social Services contracts. The first one is an agreement with Zia Partners, doctors Minkoff and Klein, to come and help us actually implement a good co-occurring disorder program. What we are learning as science evolves is that most people who have substance abuse also have some sort of mental health disorder underlying it, which is why they do substance abuse. They are self-medicating. And so we are wanting to implement some good evidence-based practices. Doctors Klein and Minkoff are very well known for doing this, and they're coming to help us, and this is the contract. The money is from MHSA, Mental Health Services Act funding, and it falls under the Workforce Education and Training, and yes, it was budgeted. The second contract is our Immunization Assistance Program. It's a revenue contract with the California Department of Public Health. So what they do is as we buy vaccines, they help offset the cost of those vaccines, and it's a 3-year contract. So we do this every time it runs out, we renew it, and they continue to reimburse us for vaccines that we purchase through the state program.
Thank you, Melanie. Richard?
Sure. In general terms, with regard to contracts, the board has authorized the county administrative officer to execute them up to $10,000. Anything over that is required to go to the board. One exception to that is public works contracts has a different set of rules than the general contract. Hopefully that opens, if that answers your question.
So anything over 10,000 has to come, even though it's budgeted, anything over 10,000 has to come before the board for approval.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, on page G2, the board, do we have any discussion on that before we make a motion to vote?
Move for approval.
Second. That motion is second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The ayes have it. G3, on expense, who wants to speak on that? Melanie already answered that. I think there's any more questions? Board, do we have a motion to pass G3?
I'll make that motion.
We have a second. Motion is second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Ayes have that. We go to G4. Aaron.
Yeah, I was looking through this, I mean, we have a pool to pay for it, so I'm trying to watch the pennies. And Lori, or I guess you're the one in charge of this, on the second page here, we have a breakdown of the cost. You have the flight, and then if you look back at the airplane tickets, I'm assuming the check mark is the one that you're getting. And anyway, it doesn't add up to the $600, and I was just curious on the discrepancy of that.
Aaron wants you to take the Greyhound.
Oh, she can fly, but I got a flight of $631, but the tickets, even if you use the business select flights, it's still,
I think it did originally include tax and other hidden stuff in the flight.
Lori, we can't hear you.
Maury Anderson, Planning and Building Services. I don't think the ticket that you're looking at included everything. You know how they like to hide stuff like tax and other kind of hidden fees, so it was a little bit more than what the ticket said. You know, sort of like when I went to Tahoe this weekend, my $49 room was $65. That kind of thing. So you want us to look into it and get back to you in front of the board or private or after the board meeting?
I'm just asking. It
Is it
doesn't
time
matter whether.
sensitive?
It probably is, because you got January on it.
We can explain next Tuesday. They give an opportunity to account for the difference.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Make me happy.
We'll do. And don't stay at Mo Blue.
Richard said that you have a $10,000 limit. Anything under that, the department heads can approve, as long as it's budgeted.
That's not exactly what it said. The county administrative officer is authorized up to $10,000.
Okay. But are you saying that every penny that's budgeted that they want to spend has to come before the board?
I don't think I understand.
Well, this is $3,700.
We have a different travel policy.
With regard to travel authorizations, there's a lower threshold, which is $2,500.
2,000.
2,000? So
At least I can.
2,000? Okay. I think where I'm going with this is that you approved $38,000 truck for Mr. Wimple? Ag? Hempel.
In the ag department?
Yeah, you didn't even budget a car for him, and you approved a $38,000 truck. And I looked at their budget. There's no budget for a truck for him, and you approved $38,000 purchase for a truck he didn't even ask for, and wasn't even in his budget. And you're dragging these department heads in for this little money. It's almost like micromanaging. It just seems like if he budgeted travel, then he has the authority to do it. It just, I mean, month after year, you're dragging these department heads into these little bits of money that they've budgeted, it's been authorized to spend, and they have to come in here and beg for it. I don't know, I think it's a micromanaging thing that maybe you ought to look at. That
To answer your question, Mrs. Benson, we don't micromanage. It's a policy. We have to go by this. It's set by the direction by the board, previous board. And I don't think we're making anybody beg for money. That's my opinion.
that's your opinion, and you're entitled to it.
And the motor pool vehicle thing is totally different than
Okay. You know, this is like bouncing a ball in a five-wall room.
You got 1 minute.
You've got rules for travel. You've got rules to buy trucks. You've got rules 10,000. I think it needs to be compressed somehow. I just don't like seeing the department heads coming in here and asking for $3,000 when it's already been budgeted.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve.
Second?
I thought we was going to wait on this to get put back on.
Oh, I didn't understand that.
I thought you were just asking a question.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh, I want.
You want to put this on the future agenda then?
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys want to withdraw your motion in second, I have another meeting.
Doesn't matter.
Are you still strong that you want to?
I'll vote no on it, but that's all right. You guys can vote second.
I'm sorry, I did not catch that. I missed it.
I trained him as a planning
Is it
commissioner.
going
He
to
did everything.
Is this time sensitive that it has to be done? It be done next week?
It could be done.
Okay.
That's why I asked.
If you guys will your second, your motion will re-agenda it for next week. Okay. And then 5 is just miscellaneous correspondence items to receive and follow.
Was that full term?
No. There's no action on G5, it's just receive and file. With that, 10 o'clock recognition committee presentation. Sam Remark for 10 years, Karen Dean for 25 years. Who do we got here?
What's your pleasure?
Did I miss something?
Yeah, you get a pen and a psychological evaluation.
I want to say,
Okay, beat up on me today. Let's go off with Sandra Mark.
I want the psyche down.
Mr. Burns going to give a speech or?
Well,
Dear Lord. Yeah, I was thinking the same. I'm going to present it.
I hope you will.
Okay, certificate of recognition to Sandra Moss in appreciation for your 10 years of employment with the County of Lassen. We, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, would like to take this opportunity to present you with this certificate of recognition and thank you for your kind efforts and commitment. Thank you so much. Mr. Burns.
I don't have a speech. I just have a question.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good morning. Thank you. Can anyone recall the last time that Lassen County had a deputy district attorney for 10 years?
Mr. Chapman is not here.
He would not be able to answer that question because it didn't occur in his time either. I don't know from anyone that I've ever asked when the last, anyone that can recall a deputy district attorney staying with Lassen County for 10 years. It's a lesson in dedication to the mission.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you very much.
You're a great man.
Sorry, you're not done. I get to say.
I didn't know.
I have Cordy now.
When I first came here, Sandy was the senior DA, which she is now, and I remember I lost a case, and I felt really sick about it, and Sandy sat down with me and gave me great mentoring, but also said you can only work with the facts as presented. And she was a wonderful guide to me in my almost 4 years in that office, and so I just want to say congratulations. It was just wonderful working with you.
Yes, it was working with you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you retiring? No. Hopeful as you sound. Past tense, I know. Is this a retirement?
This is not a posthumous award. This only goes
I'm still
to folks still in employ.
This is an award for 10 years of service.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have this one is also 10 years. Yeah, Scott. Woodrow. Not here? Not here. Okay,
Can I
we're,
just say something
give
on
that
that?
to you.
Scott, can I say something on that?
Yeah, here.
Scott Wicklow, he's a deputy sheriff, and he resides up there in the Big Valley area, and he does a real good job. He's very actively involved in the community, and I think he's a great asset to the sheriff's department. So, with that, I just like to put that out to the record.
Okay, so we got the sheriff, give that to you. Next, the 25-year award, Karen Dean. It's a long one here.
I think I should be able to give us like you don't.
Okay. Certificate of recognition for Karen Dean in appreciation for your 25 years of employment with the County of Lassen. We, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors.